Welcome back to the Deep Dive. This is episode 5 of MilSpouses Moving Houses, brought to you by MustWants.
It's great to be back.
And a huge thank you to all our listeners and readers joining us again. We really, really appreciate you being part of this community.
We do. Your support means a lot.
And hey, if you find these deep dives helpful, maybe take just a second to leave us a review, on Spotify, YouTube, wherever you listen. It helps others find us.
Definitely helps. So last time we talked about those MustWants visual tools, right? The housing data map, the schools map.
Yeah, super useful for getting the visual story when you're house hunting during a PCS. Seeing that data laid out.
Absolutely. Makes comparing areas so much easier.
It does. But today, we're shifting gears a bit. We're focusing on something really foundational for military families buying homes, the VA loan.
A huge benefit.
We've got the sources here, and our plan is to really unpack what you need to know about the VA loan, especially thinking ahead to 2025.
Okay, let's do it. So, the basics first. What is a VA loan? Well, it's interesting because the VA itself doesn't actually lend the money.
Right, that's a common misconception.
Exactly. It's a mortgage from a private lender, like a bank or a mortgage company. But the key is that the Department of Veterans Affairs guarantees a part of that loan.
And that guarantee makes a big difference for the lender, right? Reduces their risk.
Precisely. And because of that guarantee, lenders can offer really amazing terms to eligible folks, veterans, active duty members, and certain surviving spouses, too.
Okay, so speaking of eligible folks, let's talk 2025. Who qualifies, generally?
Yeah, so the general requirements usually involve service time. Things like maybe 21 days during wartime or 90 days in peacetime or having a non-dishonorable discharge after your service.
Okay.
But here's something really important, especially considering, the financial ups and downs of military life. The VA itself doesn't set a minimum credit score requirement.
Wow, okay. That's huge. So the VA guarantee bypasses that specific hurdle.
It does at the VA level. Now, individual lenders, they might still have their own credit score benchmarks, that's true. But the VA requirement isn't there, which really opens doors.
Makes homeownership seem much more attainable for many.
It really does. And don't forget, eligible surviving spouses of service members who passed away in service or due to a service-connected disability, they often qualify too.
Good to know. Okay, let's talk benefits, the what you do want to know stuff. What are the headline advantages?
Well, the two biggest ones, the ones everyone talks about, are usually the zero down payment option and no private mortgage insurance or PMI.
Let's unpack those. Zero down payment. During a PCS, that sounds like a lifesaver.
Oh, absolutely. Think about all those moving costs, deposits, travel. Have your cash available instead of locking it up in a down payment. That's a massive strategic plus.
Seriously. And no PMI. Remind us what that is again.
Right, so PMI is typically required on conventional loans if you put down less than 20%. It's basically insurance for the lender, and it adds to your monthly payment. With a VA loan, even with zero down, you usually don't pay PMI.
So that's direct monthly savings.
Significant savings, yeah. Plus, VA loans often have really competitive interest rates compared to conventional options. There's even a VA home renovation loan if you find a place that needs work.
A renovation loan too. Okay.
And one more thing, the VA actually limits certain types of closing costs that lenders are allowed to charge the borrower.
So cost savings all around. Those are really strong points. But okay, let's be balanced. What about the what you don't want to know but should? The things to be aware of.
Got to look at the whole picture. So first, there's usually something called the VA funding fee.
Okay, what's that for?
Well, its purpose is basically to help offset the cost of the program to taxpayers. Since the VA is guaranteeing these loans, the amount varies, based on your service, if it's your first time using the benefit, how much you put down, if anything.
Can you pay it up front or?
You can, or often it can be rolled right into the loan amount itself so you don't pay it out of pocket at closing.
Got it. What else?
Home inspections. Now, the VA requires an appraisal to make sure the home meets minimum property requirements and its value supports the loan. But that's not the same as a detailed home inspection looking for potential issues, repairs needed, etc.
So the VA doesn't require an inspection, but it's still a really good idea.
Highly recommended. You absolutely want to know the condition of the house you're buying. Also, while the VA limits some fees, lenders still have their own charges, origination fees, processing, underwriting. Those exist.
Standard loan costs, then?
Pretty much. And one crucial point, the VA loan is intended for your primary residence. You generally have to intend to live in the home you're buying with a VA loan.
Right, not for investment properties initially. Good points. Okay, looking specifically at 2025, any big updates we should flag?
Yes, actually. A key update relates to loan limits. Because home prices have gone up so much in many areas, the VA-backed loan limits have been increased for 2025.
What does that mean practically for buyers?
It means you can potentially buy a higher-priced home using your full VA entitlement without needing a down payment, even in those more expensive markets. It gives you more buying power.
That's a significant adjustment.
It is. And those flexible underwriting standards we mentioned, they're continuing. That flexibility really helps lenders understand the unique financial picture that can come with military life and frequent moves.
So, putting it all together, the VA loan really does seem tailor-made for the military lifestyle, doesn't it? The zero down, no PMI, the adjustments for 2025, it addresses a lot of PCS challenges.
It absolutely does. And, that's where connecting with the right people matters. Platforms like MustWants, they help by connecting you with vetted lenders.
Lenders who actually get the VA loan process and understand military families?
Exactly. They can help you navigate the options, figure out what works best for you, and streamline things, especially when you're already dealing with everything else involved in a move.
So maybe the question for you, the listener, is this. Thinking about your own situation, your next potential PCS, your finances, how could using this VA loan benefit really change things for your move and your homeownership goals in 2025?
Something to definitely consider. We hope this breakdown helped clarify things a bit.
Thank you so much for tuning into this deep dive. If you're thinking about your next steps and want to explore those VA loan options, check out MustWants.com or download the MustWants app. You can connect with those vetted lenders right there and start the conversation.
Thanks for joining us.